All right, let me see what else we got here. Any questions at all? Banking and healthcare happening. Okay, let me see. Somebody said happening a lot recently. Yeah, it definitely is in banking and healthcare. Yep, and a lot of that is due to what we're talking about is the phishing attacks and then ransomware, and it's happening a lot in those two industries because a lack of education. You would think like something so simple, but it's because you're not educating your users within the network who think they're protected by a firewall. 9 times out of 10, users just think, "Oh, we have a firewall, we're good." And a firewall is not going to protect you if you're on the internet and you go to a malicious site and you say, "Oh yeah, come right in, come through this port on my system, on my local system." So if the organization doesn't have strict policies in place that make it so you can't go to certain websites, or if they don't have a way to educate users on basic cybersecurity awareness, and nobody's perfect, right? Like you're gonna click on these links sometimes, and that's why it's really important to not only have the education in place, but also have it to where even if they do click on the link, you have it in your internal network is hardened, meaning it's not going to allow somebody to just randomly go to your server from your desktop, get into your system through your desktop. You click the link, and then now they can come in, pivot, and go to find your most important server, right? By doing like basic commands on the command line from your computer, right? There's ways to stop all this. But if you have an open internal network and you can you can traverse easily, any user can easily traverse your whole network and then figure out everything on your network from your computer, you can lock all that down. And that's why it's important for the organization to lock all that stuff down internally. If they can traverse your network and then go find out what's the most important, find all your servers, do a network map, and then find all your servers, and then one by one go down each one of your servers and figure out which one has ports open, and then figure out what ports they can exploit, right? You've got to harden every single one of your servers, every single one of your workstations. Make it so it's not easily traversable by just any user, right? Only power users can do that. Only users who absolutely need to, least privilege. Hey Larry, how you doing, man? My man Larry. Okay, let me see here. What else we got here? There's also threat actors inside. Yeah. What if there's no way to get alternative secure ports like SMB 445? Is there a way to harden it? If there's no way to get alternative secure ports like SMB 445, is there any way to harden it? I'm not super sharp on this, but I'm trying to think of things we've done in different networks I've been a part of. The first part, there's also threat actors inside, and I would argue on this point that there's always threat actors, and it's not always intentional. There's sometimes it's people who just don't know any better, clicking on anything. I would say that sometimes it's like people just clicking on, they just don't know any better. Don't get me wrong. There's some people who do know better and they don't care. And then you've got people who are just flat out malicious. They intentionally want to destroy the network for whatever reason. And then you got people who just don't know any better and they're clicking on stuff they shouldn't click on, or maybe they put a file, maybe they have admin rights for whatever reason, and they put a clear text file on the network that has a password in it. This happened, by the way. This happened at Uber, where there was some privileged user, and maybe this was their practice. They had a clear text. They had a script that they used to help manage their network, and that script was unprotected on a server, and it had credentials in it with username, password, everything to get into critical infrastructure. A hacker got into their network, found that file. Maybe they were previous somebody who worked there. I don't know, because how do they know where the file was? Then they used it to do whatever they wanted to. Look it up. Look up Uber attack. Uber got attacked and somebody got in the network and just had their way with the whole network. Insider threat. You know what I mean? Like, was that on purpose? I don't know. Like, somebody did something they weren't supposed to be doing.